What's poppin' YouTube? It's your boy Based Chiko, smooth as ice, twice as nice, and I'm back with another video. And right now I'm about to react to why South Africa is so segregated. Now you're probably wondering like, damn Chico, why are you reacting to this? If you have not seen my last video, go check it out. I reacted to Akon's interview on Drink Champs, and that man was on there just talking out his bum, bro. Literally. I don't know what was going through his head. I don't know if he was just trying to sound cool for the cameras, if he was not thinking, if maybe he's been to a whole nother version of Africa where Akon City is. I don't know. I love Akon, but he was bugging. No disrespect. I didn't even finish that video. I cut it short. So this video we about to watch, I've never even seen it, but just off the title, just off of what I know about South Africa, is gonna debunk what that man said in that interview. So go watch that interview first, my reaction to that, my last video before this, and then come back to this. If y'all enjoy my reactions, you want to see more reactions like this, drop a like, subscribe, and comment below what I should react to. Let's get it.
This strip in Cape Town, South Africa, divides the beachside community of Strand from the township of Nomzamo. They're only a few meters apart, but the people on each side live very different lives. Strand has backyards and driveways. Nomzamo is much more dense, and the people here have fewer basic services. Less
Look at this, bro.
piped water.
Look at this. 48.8% pipe water, 92.9. I swear you would think, like looking at this picture right here, you would think this is the border right here. Matter of fact, you would think this is the border, the Donald Trump wall. You would think this is it, and these are two different countries, right? But this is one country. Guess who lives on this side? And guess who lives on this side? But let Akon tell it to you on Drink Champs. Oh, the white people live in some of the worst areas in South Africa, in the poorest areas, and then the black people are the richest and live. I'm like, bruh, don't get me wrong. It is a bunch of rich black people. It is a bunch of rich white people too. But what that man was telling you on that interview was cap.
Less internet access. And Nomzamo is...
What did I say? 92% black people on this side. 83% on this side. Let Akon tell it to you.
Majority black, while the area across the line is majority white. If we use dots on a map to represent race, you can see how stark that divide is.
That's crazy.
If we zoom out to the whole city, we can see it's actually everywhere.
Bro, what? Hold on. See this? They literally have all the black people like mushed up, bro. And then the colored people, who are the mixed people right here, the white people, Indians or Asians kind of mixed in right here with the white folks. All the black people got shit. Like, this is crazy. And this video came out 2 years ago.
If we zoom out to the whole city, we can see it's actually everywhere. And this is the case across much of South Africa.
Bruh.
The color of your skin here often determines where you live.
Look at this. Now, look at this, the bigger version. Look at this. Black African, right? Around here. The purple you can't see so much. But this is like the whole... They trying to like show like most of the map in South Africa. Like, bro, I'm trying to figure out what Akon was talking about, bro. I'm confused. If you watched my last video, I was so mad, bro. I cut it off. Like, bro, this man must be drunk. He was on Drink Champs. The funny thing is he wasn't even drinking like that.
Also determines your quality of life. This map shows where jobs and opportunities are primarily concentrated in Cape Town. And this is where most of the city's black people live, in informal settlements called townships on the city's periphery.
People have to move by public transport for up to 3 hours a day, and they can't take care of their obligations in the community with the rest of the family because they're always working and they're always traveling.
That's crazy.
For decades, South Africa was under apartheid, a system that wrote segregation into law. A white minority controlled where non-white people could live, work, exist. Many were forced out of their homes.
Let's go.
Somebody complained earlier They were like, bro, you need to invest in your craft. Get YouTube Premium. Okay, I'm not getting no YouTube Premium. I could be a billionaire. I would never get YouTube Premium. But what I'm going to do is, tomorrow, guys, I'm going to download ad blocker. All right, so today's videos are the last videos y'all are seeing with ads on them.
Or a democratically elected government took power and ended apartheid.
Madiba!
It was supposed to be a new beginning.
But
But a lot of the country
man.
still looks like this. And that's because South Africa's legacy of racial division goes back centuries.
That's true.
In the 1600s, the Dutch took over the southern tip of Africa to supply ships with food along the trade route to Asia. 150 years later, Britain seized it and named it Cape Colony.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
To supply ships with food.
Oh my God.
In the 1600s, the Dutch took over the southern tip of Africa.
In the 1600s, the Dutch took over the southern tip of Africa. These are the same Dutch who have got a whole area in South Africa now and say only white people could go there, only white people could live there, only white people could work there because they want to preserve their heritage. the same Dutch who moved to Africa and took over it in the 1600s have pulled a Christopher Columbus.
To supply ships with food along the trade route to Asia. 150 years later, Britain seized it and named it Cape Colony. Many Dutch colonists moved here, further inland, to escape British rule and continue exploiting enslaved people. Just like the Dutch, the British used Cape Colony as a strategic location for trade. It wasn't economically significant. But in the 1870s, that changed when the British started mining diamonds there.
And Africa is so wealthy with minerals even to this day. That's why I'm so mad at Zambia, bro. Back in the day, our president sold mines for like $20 million. Today, those mines bring in $20 million in like easily within a week. They could bring that money in. But back then, they was sold for that amount, bro. Just think of how stupid that is. Like, and I know the currency conversion and all that, but basically, regardless whether the currency was low or not, they sold those mines for dirt cheap to the Asians. And now they bring in that money, like, in the mines bringing that money and they sleep, like, it's wet.
Suddenly, Cape Colony was one of Britain's most prized and exploited colonies. In order to get the diamonds out of the country, they built railways to connect the mines up here to the coast. The railways allowed the British to access a global diamond market through the port city of Cape Town. Soon, the economy of Cape Colony was centered around the railroads, especially this main route. The green areas on this map show the black regions of Cape Colony, largely left out of the railroad economy.
Why
Racial
is that?
inequality in Cape Colony was being reinforced by location. To keep it that way, the colonial government started writing segregation into law. The Native Lands Act of 1913
You can't make this.
pushed black people.
You would think this is a movie script. Like, I swear to God. Like, I'm literally African. I'm not even South African, bro. I'm Zambian. But this shit got me baffled. I knew, like, I learned about some of this stuff growing up in, like, 6th grade, 7th grade. But I learned more as I got older. And it's mind-blowing and shocking, guys. You would think they're making a movie. Like, you can't make this shit up.
Into these areas, only 8% of South Africa's land, and restricted them from owning land everywhere else. Or relocated them to the edges of the major cities to work for white people.
And then I'm sorry I'm pausing the video too much. I just got so much to say, bro. And then these motherfuckers decide to write different to make up whatever laws or whatever to preserve certain land for certain groups and all this because black people have their own area where they don't want. Nigga, this is their fucking land. This is their shit, their ancestors' shit. So you can't compare that shit to saying, oh, if black people have their own areas in Africa or whatever, then these guys, it's okay for them to do this and segregate on their own land saying y'all can't even come here. First of all, 9 times out of 10, I know this for a fact. I could bet my life on this. Black people is not even on that some, oh, you're white, you can't come into this neighborhood, or you can't work here, you can't have friends here, you can't do that. No, nigga, that shit is coming from the white man first. And if they doing it, it's because they doing it too. So now they trying to get their get back. Like, man.
These laws began to shape the region. Cape Town's growth from the increased trade turned the port town into a major city. Many migrants from the rest of the colony and elsewhere moved here, to what was then the outskirts of Cape Town, where former enslaved people, merchants, artists, and immigrants were forming a neighborhood called District 6. As the city grew around District 6, so did the neighborhood. For decades, District 6 was a thriving, integrated community.
We were a very cosmopolitan, you could say, family almost, because there were people from all different nationalities, from all different walks of life.
This was the statement, your child is my child.
But it
Takes a
wouldn't last.
village to raise a child.
Our heritage is ingrained in our
God
skin.
damn, these ads is ridiculous. They say it was like Chicago back then, bro. Chicago over here, bro, it's Mexicans, Hispanic. I just said Mexicans, but it's Hispanics, Italians, Indians, Africans, whatever. Like Chicago, to me, of all the cities that I've been in the U.S. or visited, Chicago is the most diverse, even from the food. But you have so many food options from different cultures in Chicago. I mean, kind of what I would compare District, what is it called? District 6 to, maybe?
Britain's legal hold in what was now the Union of South Africa officially ended. The remaining white minority, the descendants of Dutch colonists, took control, and they built on the foundation the British were leaving behind. Between 1949 and 1971, the all-white government passed 148 laws solidifying...
Do y'all hear this? They built on what the British had already established. What did the British establish? Segregation and all this stuff. So if y'all built off of that, do you think it's okay now just because y'all made these laws and in other places black people have their own neighborhoods and they could do that, we could do this too, even though we're on their land, so that makes it okay? Like, dog, some of y'all, like the people that, when I reacted to that last video about what's that town called where it's only white people, they don't allow black people to work there, live there, or visit or anything. I reacted to that video a few days ago and y'all was mad at me. You're so ignorant. Do your research. White people are doing this because black people also have towns over there where, nigga, y'all came and took over for some bullshit that they tried to end, and y'all built off of that bullshit and made more laws and thrived off of that. You could think of it however you want. You could be mad at me, but that's just facts, and can't nobody disagree with that. That is facts, plain facts. Y'all built off of bullshit, and then now try to make it appealing because niggas is mad about it. Get the fuck out of here.
Apartheid.
Apartheid allowed for the full realization of the ambition of the fascist project in South Africa.
In 1950, the Population Registration Act officially classified people by race: white, colored, and native or black,
You can't make
and
this up.
eventually Asian. Then they made laws saying where people could live. Around the country, black South Africans were moved into these areas, called homelands or Bantustans. Bantustans were rural areas and had underdeveloped economies. Many of them were in the areas Britain had already excluded from the railway economy, and where black land ownership had been restricted to. Black people were forced to carry passbooks that specified where they were allowed to work or travel to. In cities like Cape Town, the Group Areas Act moved the remaining non-whites into separate urban areas.
The most prime land and the land closest to high valued property was allocated to white people.
In 1966, the government declared that District 6 was now a whites-only area. The residents of District 6 received removal letters like this one that said living there was illegal because they were not white.
the same area that had it everywhere. Like, do y'all see what y'all do? Even for the white people that were mad at me in the last video of mine. Do y'all see what your great granddad? Fuck that. Fuck your great. Some of y'all fathers is still alive that were a part of this shit. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Y'all, your great granddaddies or whatever that at least contributed. Not a part of it contributed to this shit. Like, do y'all see why I was so mad in my last video, gang? I'm not racist. I don't hate. I have a bunch of white friends here. All this, but I call a spade, bro. I don't discriminate. I don't like blah. I just call a spade a spade.
Bulldozers drove
the same District 6 that was for everybody, bro. It was mixed. Black people, Indian, this. But guess who decides to tell everybody to move out and say this is our area now? The white man. Where? In whose land? On whose land? On the black man's land. That, bro.
to District 6 and razed it to the ground.
We lived here. We had a life here.
It was very traumatic for a lot of people.
It's like ripping out someone's heart.
More than
I can only
60,000
imagine how they
people
felt.
were forcibly removed from their homes.
60,000.
This kind of violence against non-white people was commonplace around the country. But after decades of pressure, both from within South Africa and abroad, apartheid rule finally came to an end. The new government lifted restrictions on where people could live. Millions of people who had been excluded from economic development for centuries migrated to major cities looking for basic services and economic opportunity.
For any family with no prospect of employment, the most rational, logical choice to make is to migrate to an urban center.
They settled where there was empty land, creating townships on the peripheries of major cities, like Cape Town. The government built millions of homes and expanded clean water and electricity.
But it had a number of unforeseen consequences, the most important of which is that the only land that could be used for the public housing program was on the periphery of the city. And for that reason, a brilliant intention to overcome the apartheid legacy unintentionally reproduced the very same legacy it was trying to undo.
Today,
damn. Okay, I ain't even peeped that one coming. That's crazy. Like, they wasn't even trying to, bro. Like, it just, in the process of them trying to get rid, bruh. Damn. Appreciate your life, bro. It's crazy. Everybody out here ain't living sweet like you is. Everybody ain't got it like you got it, bro. That's all I can say about that.
60% of the mostly black population of Cape Town lives in these townships at the edge of the city.
Let
The
Akon
thing
tell
is,
you,
Cape
white
Town City
people,
Center
most
has
white
land
people live here. Let Akon tell you, most white people live here. And then the
edge
black
of the
people
city.
live in the cities.
The thing is, Cape Town City Center has land to develop. But because of its location, it's valuable. So it usually gets sold to private developers who build luxury apartments. Nearly $1 billion worth of them are going up by the coast. But right in the heart of Cape Town, by all the expensive developments, District 6 remains largely untouched. The former residents have fought against private development, and they've actually succeeded. Some have even managed to return to houses built by the city.
I wanted to come back here where I was born, which was part of our whole family's heritage.
I couldn't believe that I was back. It was a sense of relief.
But there are still hundreds of claimants waiting to get back to District 6.
Of course, not everybody's back. I understand that. I know that.
We haven't done the difficult and the painful work to confront what the intergenerational consequences are of colonialism, of apartheid.
The story of Cape Town and South Africa's racial segregation starts far in the past, but it's very much entangled with the present. Apartheid and colonialism here are over, but many of the barriers they built have yet to be dismantled.
The kind of psychic scars that's left on individuals and on communities, we haven't begun the work of saying, how do we live together, right? in the face of that history.
This is a dope video, really informative. I don't know if that's the right word to use. If not, I learned a lot from this video. Some of the stuff I knew already, but I learned more about. But I really had to react to this video just for the simple fact that Drink Champs interview Akon did. I love that man's music. You feel me? I don't know what he was on. He was BSing, and somebody had to say something. You feel me? So I guess I had to be the somebody.